What's going on? Thanks for joining us here for another session of 5-pillar mobility. Start by finding a nice comfy spot, lying on your back. Take a few nice, deep, relaxing, natural breaths. Allow yourself to let go of any ongoing stress or tension. Just imagine breathing out. As you let go of air, imagine letting go of stress and tension, anxiety. None of that stuff matters right now. All that matters is you and your breath. So let's get ready for some me time. Today's routine is focused on the hips and ankles. So we'll take a few targeted breaths, focusing on relaxing that lower body. On your next exhale, imagine getting nice and soft through those glutes. Like they're slowly letting go of tension, like a balloon letting go of air. And letting go of those quads, feeling those knees sink heavy into your mat. And next exhale, just relax through your calves, your shin muscles, and your feet. Relaxing through your toes. Let's take one more breath here. And we'll sigh that breath out. And we'll move into the left side glute. So let's go face up on your lacrosse ball. Start by searching through that glute. Glute is a big, powerful muscle. Can carry tension in a lot of different areas. That piriformis strip along the top end of the glute can be a tight spot. The outer part of the glute and the glute med can carry a lot of tension. It could be right in the belly. Wherever you're finding tension today, let that be your focus. And once you've found your spot, concentrate on getting passive with that target tissue. Just feel it mold itself over top of that lacrosse ball. Remaining focused on establishing calm, relaxing vibes mentally, and letting those calm, relaxing vibes just spread themselves throughout your whole body. Let's take one more breath here. We'll slowly sigh out that breath, and we'll switch to the right side. So start by panning through that right glute area. If you found a good new spot on the left, feel free to start around that same spot on this side. If it doesn't feel the same tension as the left, feel free to keep searching. And if you're not finding anything in particular, just pick something and go with it. You can also experiment with your position. If you struggle near the bottom of a squat, pulling your knee into your chest can help you free up that glute area in the position of restriction. Whatever this exercise ends up looking like for you, just settle in. Let that be your version today, and then concentrate on getting passive. There are some muscles we need to hold this posture. There's a lot that we don't. And keep scanning through those tissues that might be tense that don't need to be, whether that's your face or your head or neck or feet. As you breathe out, just imagine letting go of any unnecessary tension. I'll take one more breath here. Let's slowly sigh out that breath, and we'll shift into the left side hamstring. So we find the hamstring easiest to access if we get on a hard surface like a table or a countertop or a hard chair, and place that lacrosse ball under the hamstring and just start by searching through that hamstring. It's a big muscle and it can be tense in a lot of different areas along its length and width. It can benefit from movement of that lacrosse ball with the fibers or against it. It can also be helpful just to sit on top of it and let that pressure just sink in. Whatever version you've got going on today that your body's telling you it's okay with, once again, settle in. Concentrating on turning off any muscle we don't need, with some extra attention on getting soft in around whatever area you're targeting. And remember to use your breath. Your breath is always a powerful tool for helping your mind relax. And relaxing the mind is the first step to relaxing your body. Let's take one more breath here. We'll sigh out that breath and we'll switch to the right side. And start by panning again. The hamstrings can be tense, anywhere from in behind the knee all the way up into the hip. So just search for what your body needs today. Let the video and the anatomy pics be a guideline for where to start this exercise. And let your body's feedback be the means for you to refine what this exercise is going to look like for you today. And once we're there, settle in, get as passive as humanly possible. Concentrate on a nice relaxing rhythm of breath. And if you found counting your breath helpful, counting the duration of the inhale, the hold, the exhale, and the hold, and that might be a box breath of 4 seconds, maybe up to 10 seconds. This isn't a requirement, and sometimes counting the breath can add anxiety we don't need. So just settle into whatever version of breath feels right for today. And let's sigh out that breath. And we'll shift ourselves into a left side pigeon stretch. So start in an extended lunge position, left leg forward. Bring that shin as flush to the ground as your pain-free range will allow. Settle into a posture that allows you to target that outer left hip and glute. And just be conscious of how this is feeling around the knee. You may have to adjust your hip angle or knee angle until you find a right angle that targets the hip. Once you've got your version of the stretch, concentrate on getting passive, especially through that outer hip. Relaxing into the stretch and just submitting to the position. And in 10 seconds, we'll gently get active through that left leg by pressing the ankle into the floor. And let's go ahead. Attempting to rotate yourself out of this pigeon, starting with easy pressure, ramping that up as we go. Let's finish with a big squeeze here for these last 5, 3, 2, 1. Let's gently reverse. Actively trying to pull your left ankle and your torso closer together. Ramping up tension as we go. Finishing with a big squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Let's let go of that breath. Get nice and passive. Scan through that left hip to start. Any muscles that feel like they're fighting the stretch, just mentally let it go. Focus on nice, relaxing breaths. Staying in your happy place. We'll take one more breath on this side. We'll slowly sigh it out and switch to the right side. Let's bring that right leg forward. Settle into whatever version of this pigeon feels right for your right side, and it might feel slightly different than the left. Just be sensitive to what your body's telling you. Again, we want to target that outer right hip, not the knee. If you got discomfort in the knee or any pain is always a signal to stop. And find a version of this that your body's okay with. And once we're there, settle back into your breath. Allow your breath to calm your mind. Allow your mind to calm your body. In a few seconds, we'll gently get active through this right side by pressing that right ankle into the floor. And let's go ahead. Activate through your hip to rotate that ankle, attempting to reverse the stretch, ramping up tension as we go. Finishing with a big squeeze here for these last 5, 3, 2, 1. Let's gently reverse. Try to actively pull your ankle closer to your torso, pulling yourself deeper into the stretch, ramping up that tension as we go. Finishing with a big squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Big breath out, relax, get nice and passive. Scan through that hip for anything tense. Hit the off switch. Just submit to that position. We'll take one more breath here. We'll slowly sigh out that breath. And we'll transition into a seated fold. So in a seated position, legs extend out in front of your body. Just gently let your torso fall towards your shins to target that posterior chain. And don't worry so much about holding a quote-unquote good posture position. Just let yourself fall into whatever position allows you to relax. Target those hamstrings. The knees can be locked, they can be slightly bent. There are no hard rules, as long as you're not feeling pain. Settle into whatever position feels right. And in about 10 seconds, we will start to gently get active. It's helpful if you grab a hold of your shins or ankles and just attempt to reverse the stretch. And let's go ahead, starting with nice easy tension. Attempting to push your feet into the ground, pulling your torso away, ramping up that tension as we go. Let's really squeeze here for these last 5, 3, 2, 1. Let's gently reverse. Activate through your core, through your hip flexors, actively trying to pull deeper into that stretch, ramping up tension as we go. Really squeezing here for these last 5, 3, 2, 1. Big breath out, relax. Get nice and passive. You may find yourself in a deeper position in the stretch. And if so, great. And if not, don't stress. We will get there. Mobility does take time and patience. Even if you're doing all the right things, it has to happen at a pace your body's ready for. Let's take one more breath here. We'll slowly sigh out that breath. And we'll move into a left side tibialis anterior release, or tibans. So we'll grab that lacrosse ball, and we'll drop your shin muscle on top of that lacrosse ball. So the outer portion of that shin, don't be on bone, we want to be on muscle here. Pen through that muscle. This can be a sensitive area, especially if you do a lot of walking or running. Just settle into the right amount of pressure and tension that feels right for today. And that right amount of pressure is generally where you're not feeling pain, you are feeling a little bit of pressure release. There should be no numbness or any tingling. It can be a little uncomfortable, but there should be zero pain. And once you're settled into your area that needs attention and the level of tension and pressure we're applying, concentrate on getting passive through that target tissue, Letting that tibia just soften over top of that lacrosse ball. Mentally staying nice and relaxed. Go into your happy place. Let's take one more breath here. We'll slowly sigh out that breath, and we'll transition into the left side calf. So focusing on the back side of that lower leg. Start by searching for what needs attention along that calf. So basically anything above your Achilles tendon and below the knee is fair game here. A lot of people will carry tension right in that junction between where the soleus and gastroc meet, or where the meat of your muscle starts in your calf. And just because that's the case for a lot of people doesn't mean it will be for you. So keep searching and find what your body needs today. The only person that's going to know that is you. And once you've found that spot, settle in, concentrate on getting passive through the calf and through any muscle group that we don't need right now. We don't need your face, we don't need your other limb. If the pressure's okay, you can feel free to stack your right leg on top or even lift your hips off the ground to add that pressure. As long as we're not getting pain and your body's okay with it, try to keep progressive through this program. I'll take one more breath here. We'll slowly sigh out that breath, and we'll shift over to our right side, starting with that tibia, going shin down on that lacrosse ball. Search through the length of the muscle. Feel out whether we need to roll today or whether we need to sit passively on top of that lacrosse ball and concentrate on getting passive. Both methods have benefits, and how much you benefit really depends on you. So whatever this exercise looks like for today, just settle in, let that be your focus. Concentrate on getting as passive as you can through the target tissue and any tissue we don't need to hold this position. If you found counting your breath helpful, feel free to settle back into that. And feel free to be progressive with that as well. Be a good way to track your aerobic capacity. As you move through the program, challenge yourself to slow your breath down further. And again, none of this is necessary, but it is helpful to stay progressive through the program. Let's take one more breath here. We'll sigh out that breath, and we'll move to the right calf. So shifting our attention to the back side of that lower leg again. Start with a quick search. Search along the length and the width of that muscle and see what needs attention. And once you're there, settle into the right angle of pressure, the right amount of pressure. And if just letting your right leg rest on top of that lacrosse ball is enough tension and pressure for today, that's totally fine. If you'd like to add a bit of tension to get a little deeper release, feel free to rest your left leg on top. And for a deeper release still, feel free to lift your hips up off the floor. And if at any point, any of those scaling up options add tension, excess tension, or pain, let's take it down a notch. Always let pain be your guide. Let's take a one or two more good quality diaphragmatic breaths here. Let's sigh out that breath. We'll set that lacrosse ball aside and we'll settle into a squat stretch. So the ideal squat stretch is sitting as low as you can on your ankles. That's really going to depend on your own limits, your own pain-free range. If you find you can't drop all the way down without pain, feel free to prop your hips up onto something, whether that's a chair or some mats. Let yourself sit passively at the end of whatever your pain-free range is, and then concentrate on getting passive in that position. Relaxing through your hips, your glutes, your quads, your hamstrings, your ankles, your feet. There are some muscles we need. Try to get as passive as you possibly can and sit as deep as you possibly can, pain-free. In a few seconds, we'll gently get active through the ankle. And let's go ahead. So start by nice and easy pressing the balls of the feet into the floor, like you're attempting to reverse the direction of your squat through your ankle, ramping up that tension as we go. Really squeezing here for these last 5, 3, 2, 1. Let's gently reverse. Squeeze through the top of your foot, the top of your ankle, your tibans, squeezing deeper into that stretch through the ankle, ramping up tension as we go, finishing with a big squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Big breath out, relax. Nice and passive. Relax into that basic squat position. You may find you're a little deeper into the stretch at this point. If so, great. If not, don't sweat. Keep being patient. Those results will come. In a few seconds, we'll get active through the hips. As we get active, thinking about through the glutes, reversing the stretch. And let's go ahead, starting with nice, easy tension, activating through those butt muscles, slowly ramping up tension as we go. Finishing with a big squeeze here for these last 5, 3, 2, 1. Let's gently reverse. Squeeze through your hip flexor, actively trying to pull your knees closer to your chest, ramping up that tension as we go. Really squeezing here for these last 5, 3, 2, 1. Big breath out, relax, nice and passive again. And again, you may find depth has improved. If so, that's great. If not, don't worry. We'll get there. Take a few more nice, relaxing, deep breaths. Get as passive as you can through those hips, through the ankles, through the knee. Let's take one more breath here. We'll slowly sigh out that breath, and we'll call it a day. Thanks for joining us here for 5 Pillar Mobility. Hope your hips and ankles are feeling great. Hope you enjoyed the program. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great day.